Greetings, everyone. My name is Sakshi, a student of ITEP first semester from Jesus and Mary College, University of Delhi. Today, I will be presenting on the topic Swadeshi and Nationalist Movement in Education, Vision for Self-Reliance and Cultural Revival, which forms part of paper Evolution of Indian Education under Unit 4, Modern Indian Education. Through this presentation, I aim to introduce the key ideas concepts, and relevance of topic within the broader context of school education and teacher preparation. I will be covering the major themes that is, what is Swadeshi in education, historical context and evolution, the role of Indian thinkers, contemporary relevance, and future directions, presented in a structured and concise manner. I hope this discussion offers you meaningful insights and contribute to a collective understanding of the topic. What is Swadeshi in education? Swadeshi derives from Sanskrit. Swa means self and Deshi means country. It represents education rooted in Indian values, indigenous languages, and traditional knowledge systems. The movement emerged during the Bengal partition of 1905, a nationalist response to the colonial education that prioritized Western knowledge over the Indian heritage. Swadeshi education emphasized the key five areas: integration of indigenous knowledge, vernacular or mother tongue medium, practical skills and handicraft, character development based on Indian values, and decentralization of educational control. It took a holistic approach, combining traditional Indian pedagogical methods with modern scientific thinking to develop the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. To understand why Swadeshi education emerged, we must examine the colonial system. Macaulay's system, introduced in 1835, prioritized English language and Western literature over Indian knowledge, history, philosophy, and sciences. This created a psychological dependence on foreign languages and ideas. Colonial education created a slave mentality, disconnection from indigenous language system, loss in faith in cultural tradition, and systematic marginalization of Vedic sciences, Ayurveda, and traditional mathematics. This curriculum served colonial administrative needs and not the Indian development. Most critically, benefits were restricted to the small English educated elite, while the most vast majority was denied meaningful access. The Bengal Partition of 1905 became the catalyst for Swadeshi educational movement. Lord Curzon's partition was perceived as divide and rule strategy, sparking a massive nationalist response. Nationalist leaders recognized education as a powerful tool for nation building and consciousness raising. They established alternative institutions, directly challenging the colonial monopoly over education. Students actively boycotted the British schools and joined newly established national schools with nationalist curricula. Key institutions established during this era included the National Council of Education in 1906, Bengal National College, and Shanti Niketan, creating an alternative educational infrastructure entirely independent of colonial framework. Now, let me outline the four core principles that define the Swadeshi education. First, the indigenous language integration, incorporation of Indian history, philosophy, sciences, mathematics, including the Vedic mathematics and Ayurveda. India possessed advanced knowledge systems that required restoration. Second, the vernacular or mother tongue medium, primary education in native languages, reducing the cognitive burden and preserving the linguistic diversities. Researchers show students learn better in their mother tongue. Third, practical skills integration. Handicrafts like spinning, weaving, pottery, and agriculture were integrated with academics, giving students a marketable skill while understanding the concept through hands-on learning. Fourth, character development and decentralization. Education aimed at developing the whole person with moral training based on Indian values, with local communities determining the educational needs and enabling community participation in school management. Swadeshi education evolved through three distinct historical phases. Phase 1, the Swadeshi era, from 1905 to 1911, saw the founding of National Council of Education in 1906, the Bengal National College, with Sri Aurobindo as first principal, emphasizing the technical education with nationalist perspective, and Shanti Niketan, pioneering the experiential learning during this phase. Student boycotts flourished, and parallel national schools emphasizing the vernacular instructions were established. Phase 2, the post-independence from 1947 to 2000, witnessed a peculiar phenomenon. Despite achieving the independence, the colonial education system largely persisted, with only minor modifications. The three-language formula attempted the balancing regional languages with Hindi and English, but vocational emphasis remained limited, and centralized curriculum reduced local autonomy. Educational transformation was slower than independence aspirations suggested. Phase 3, the Atmanirbhar era from 2020 to present, shows renewed alignment with Swadeshi principles. The National Education Policy 2020 explicitly embraces these principles. The Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative promotes the educational self-sufficiency, and NCERT Swadeshi module for 2025 connects historical movements to modern entrepreneurship. Technology is now enabling regional content creation at scale. Now, let us learn about the role of some great Indian thinkers, starting with Mahatma Gandhi and his philosophy of Nai Talam, or new education. Gandhi believed that education is an all-round drawing out of the best in child and man, that is, body, mind, and spirit. He advocated that every school teach useful trades, spinning, weaving, pottery, and carpentry. Through these handicrafts, students could learn mathematics through proportions, physics through mechanics, and chemistry through transformations. He insisted on vernacular education with mother tongue as the instruction medium up to 8th standard, making education accessible beyond English educated elite. Rabindranath Tagore brought a complementary vision combining the internationalism with cultural pride. In 1901, he founded Shantiniketan as a rural, nature-based learning space where open air classes encouraging experiential learning and discovery. Creativity was central. Students grew through music, dance, art, and theater, fostering free thinking, imagination, and curiosity. Tagore's integrated curriculum connected arts, humanities, and sciences for holistic education and understanding. This vision eventually contributed to his establishment of Vishwa Bharati University in 1921, an institution embodying the Swadeshi ideals on a global scale. Sri Aurobindo proposed an integral education blending material skills with spiritual growth to develop the whole individual and support national transformation. As the first principal of Bengal National College, he advanced nationalist-oriented technical education, proving Indians could build strong institutions without colonial support. Satish Chandra Mukherjee focused on institutional innovation through National Council of Education. He created Indian Central Science and Technology Institutes, offering credible alternatives to colonial education. His legacy demonstrated that culturally rooted national techni- nationalist technical education was effective, independent, and capable of shaping future Indian institutions. Today, Swadeshi principles address contemporary educational challenges. Challenge 1, local context disconnection. A uniform curriculum often overlooks regional needs to contextual learning tied to local culture is promoted, as supported by NEP 2020's flexibility for regional adaptation. Challenge 2, unemployment and skill gap, with most rural youth lacking vocational training. Integrating practical skills into academics is essential, reflective in PMKVY and market-oriented skill programs. Challenge 3. Cultural alienation. Students' detachment from Indian history requires curriculum grounded in indigenous knowledge and Ayurveda. Challenge 4. Language barriers. English medium instructions disadvantages rural learners, making mother tongue in education crucial, reflected into an NEP 2020's recommendation for regional languages up to grade 5. The National Education Policy 2020 embodies Swadeshi principles through mother tongue instruction up to grade 5. Holistic development combines academics with arts and sports, vocational integration from grade 6, and recognition of indigenous knowledge including Ayurveda, yoga, and traditional mathematics. The Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana or PMKVY is India's flagship national program that bridges vocational training with formal education. It integrates industrial relevant skills, both traditional crafts and modern competencies to enhance employment prospects for our youth. Through a school integration model, students earn recognized skill certificates while continuing their academics. This happens through real apprenticeships and partnerships with industries where classroom learning directly connects to the workplace experience. As part of larger Skill India mission, PMKVY aligns youth skills with market demands while preserving our cultural heritage, traditional crafts that revive through industry linkage, creating income generating opportunities. This impact is significant. Rural and urban youth gain employable skills, economic mobility, and sustainable livelihood. We are seeing new startups emerge and traditional crafts revive. A true Swadeshi aligned approach to skill development that transforms life and strengthens our economy. The Swadeshi movement reminds us that quality education doesn't require abandoning our cultural roots. By integrating indigenous knowledge, prioritizing vernacular instructions, and developing practical skills, we create education that serves both individual and national development. Thank you for your attention.